Hey, I'm Lily Hope. Welcome to the preparations for Chilkat warp spinning. We're going to be processing wool. And I'm a Chilkat and Raven's-tail weaver here in Juneau, Alaska. I weave, I teach, and I love sharing the knowledge of how we get to weaving blankets. We are here to do part 2 of preparing materials for spinning Chilkat warp. We have wool today to split down into spinnable thicknesses, and I wanted to share with you that I've got this little roving in my hand of merino wool, and I am going to show you how to split it, but I did want to give you the option that if you're not into splitting this down, you can find a single ply merino yarn that is already essentially split down. If you're in a pinch and you're not in the mood to process all of your merino roving, splitting it down yourself, you can use this single ply merino yarn, and it has a tiny bit of a spin to it, it works, and you may have to use not just 2 pieces in your spinning, but 4 pieces, so it'll be like a 4-ply warp, but it still works out pretty nicely. So that is an option. To begin processing our merino roving, we want to make sure that whatever we pull off of the big mound that we have, the spool of stuff that we have, is about from our heart to our fingertips. And this is a little bit longer, but that's okay. So about that long, and then you're going to make a whole bunch of them that are that same length. Okay, so setting all those up for yourself. I like to do at least like 4 or 5 at the same time. So these are very different, but within that same realm. We're going to split all of those down and have those standing by to be split down. And we're going to grab one and then start to fan it out. We're going to fan. Start fanning this and getting it a little bit flatter, because what our goal is we're going to split this in half and then in half again and then into thirds. Okay, we're going to fan and spread this out, kind of getting it a little bit even all the way in that thickness, and I'm working kind of in the halfway point of my whole length, right? So I've got this fanned here, and I'm going to start splitting from the center of my whole roving section, really pulling it open this way, and then coming along down that side and a little bit down this side, really letting it just break wherever it's naturally doing it. And then same here, pulling this down and splitting that. So now I've split my roving in half, and guess what? I'm going to lay this one over my wrist while I work on this one, and I'm going to split this in half again. So bringing this one about half and half, and really getting it fanned out and flattened enough so that when you start to split it, they really are close to exactly half. And sometimes it won't split perfectly, and that's okay. It's the nature of the work. We're going to split that all the way down each side. And then look, I've got the halves here. I'm going to put it on my other wrist so I know those have been split already. I'm going to bring this one back and then fan this guy out. Again, working from about the halfway point, and meaning I'm folding my roving in half, right? And then I'm going to split that, open that up, split it in half again. Ooh, that was faster. And then of course I've got 4 pieces, right? I've got it split in half and split in half again, and now I can split these guys into thirds. So once I have 4 pieces of my full roving, this one is into thirds. And my goal, this particular roving, I'm not sure, it's like a pinky and thumb, I'm not sure what the actual thickness is of this, but you're going to have to play with your roving when it arrives and figure out whether you want to split it half and half again and then into thirds, or if you might actually go half, 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 half. Like maybe you'll get a full 16 or 32 pieces out of yours. So I'm going to split that into thirds. Oh, did you see that I did this into thirds, right? I kind of designated what the thirds might look like, and then I held this one apart while I was pulling that first one off, okay? So then again, I can just go to the next one, separate those, and I'm not worried so much about how much fluff is happening here. I'm going to worry about that at the end when I'm resetting everything. So now I'm putting my thirds, right, on the other wrist, grabbing my next one, getting that into thirds, and look, it's almost doing it anyway right here. Getting that one, 1, 2, 3, and then this one's naturally just pulling away already, okay? And then this one, 1, 2, 3. So now we've got this little one broken into 3 and this guy into 3, and we're going to go to our next quarter, right? Because we've split it into 4ths, and now we're going to go to here and find the 3rds on this guy, and really finding those 3rds. Ooh, this one's a little thin, but you know what? It's all going to work out in the wash. We're all going to be fine. And splitting this one down all the way. Oh, last one. Down like this. And see how this is really fluffy? Don't have to worry about this. We're going to adjust that in just a minute. So, okay, so we've got 3, 6, 9. I am going to grab this other one off the floor. You like that? And here we go with the last one. So this one is going to get split down into 3rds. So we've got 3, 6, 9, 12 ideally. Although this seems a little thinner. I'm going to see if it actually works into 3rds. This one doesn't seem like it's quite as even as the others. I might just cut it in half. This is real life, right? So I'm going to split it down the halfway instead of 3rds, just because it doesn't feel quite as thick as all the other pieces. And it is going to be a little bit fatter than the rest of them, but we're going to adjust it just now. Okay, so now I've got almost 12 pieces. Cut that one randomly into 2. And you're going to know when to do it, okay? As you go on and continue to split your wool, you'll see like, oh yeah, this needs to be a 2, not a 3. All right, so now I've got these little guys, and I'm going to keep them on my arm, and then I'm going to go along and kind of feel how it's going. And this one is really thin right here, and then gets a little bit thicker in this area. So I'm just going to go like this. Look, I'm going to gently pull. And I've got quite a bit of distance here, right? I'm going to pull ever so gently on these fibers and kind of thin it out so it's all the same as the very beginning of it, okay? So really gentle with that. And then as I go along, I can kind of slide it through my hand, and I can really feel that it's pretty consistent through here. Ooh, a little bit right here, and going all the way to the end. That's why you want to start with something from your heart to your arm, because it is going to get a little bit longer or shorter as you go along, you know, adjusting it for this. So you have a couple options. If you have a little rack or a back of a chair that's flat, you can hang your pieces for tomorrow to begin spinning. You can hang them on your little rack here. Or as you come along, and we're going to do this one, the other option is if you're not going to be spinning it right away and you want to be able to be mobile with your merino, or you don't want it to tangle up on itself again, the other option is this. And this is like old school knowledge, just so old. All right, I'm going to put my fingers like this, thumb on the, what is that, middle finger, index finger pointing up, holding on to it here, and I'm going to make a figure 8. And figure 8 around my fingers this way till I get about that much left. And then I'm going to spiral it through the center. So I'm going to make a whole bunch of these little bundles. You can see I've already started. I've got all these little bundles ready, so that when I start spinning, I can grab this guy and go whoosh, like this. It should unwind and be ready to spin with. Okay, so again, I like to start holding it on my middle finger and thumb, wrap it over the top of my index finger, and then figure 8, figure 8, figure 8. About there. And when I have about a tail that long, what is that, about a tail of my hang loose sign, just wrap it around. And I'm giving it a little bit of tension here as I'm wrapping around, because it'll hold itself in place. Okay, so that's that. 2 options, all right? Then I'm going to go through every single one of my strands and make sure that they're pretty even. And slide them through my hand and check their thickness. Holding again here and figure 8 them. I'm going to figure 8 them if I'm not going to spin right away, like in the next couple of days. Then I would put all my little guys into little figure 8s, because they store really nicely that way. You can even find these figure 8s. I bet my mom made these figure 8s. So it's really fun that you get to find them later. Oh, look, that one's coming apart. And figure 8ing. So that's it. You're going to take all your little guys, all the roving pieces that you have, split them in half again, so you have those 4. Then you're going to split those 4 sections into 3 each. So you're going 3, 6, 9, 12 ideally to get all these little pieces. Wind them into bundles or hang them over your bar in preparations for spinning tomorrow.